Hey, this is Luke. This is my blog explaining how we made the stereo mix for the Leicester College promotional video. If you want to see the video, it should be in the description below. Check it out, and this blog will explain how we did that. So the first thing we did was to decide how we wanted to portray Leicester College, and this video is quite professional, and we didn't want to discriminate between any people. We want to attract as many people from different ranges as possible, so we were aiming to appeal to older people, younger people, all races, all ages. So we just wanted the video to be professional but awesome at the same time. So we've gone for a rock slash electronic music feel, and we hadn't considered dialogue yet, but so we just got down to making the music. Now, as this is a BBC delivery, sorry, we looked in the technical standards document, and we're going to have to deliver 4 stems, which are Foley, the music, the dialogue, and the sound bed. So we kind of had an idea for the music. We were going to put dialogue in there, we just didn't know what yet. And sound bed, we were unsure of what we were going to put in for that. And then Foley, we made a group decision that because at the start of the video we could do like an introduction, sort of a little glimpse into the music equipment that we've got, so we just did some basic setting up noises like plugging guitars in, clattering of the drums, that sort of thing, and that gave us a Foley stem. For the music, we got a sample of some epic drums, and then we chopped them up and laid them out over the video and put them where they correlated with different screen changes. Then we exported the drum track, that was given to me to put some music on top of that. So I took that drum track, I put it into Ableton, changed the sample rate so it would play at the normal speed, and then I put some markers down to say where the screens were changing, what kind of hits were important, and then I recorded some guitar, the DI in my guitar, I made a synth track, and then I did some basic EQing and compression, basic mixing before I exported that single music track, and then we put that back into our project in Logic, and we had to flex it because I'd synchronized and I put ward markers in my Ableton track so it sat on the beat, but when it was in Logic, obviously all the screen changes and the drums, they're not actually on the beat, so we had to do quite a lot of flex timing to get that synchronized with the video. The dialogue presented quite a problem. We left it till later on to decide what we were going to do, and then by the time we got down to writing the narrative and recording it, it was professional, but it was a bit too corporate. It was kind of cheesy, and the way we recorded it, we put Ben into a studio and surrounded him with soundproof material, and that just made the vocals sound too boxy. It took out all the high end, and we couldn't really fix that. So quite late on in the process, we decided to go back and re-record all the vocals. So in the Leicester College, there was a voice acting class up a few levels, so we just took a portable recorder up there and asked them to record a few lines. We changed the narrative to make it less professional, a bit more informal. So instead of using like academic words, we just like changed them for simple words that younger people will understand. The fact of recording them on the portable dictaphone, we didn't actually do a line level check, so our signal, it was just over the top, and we didn't realize until we got back down to the studio and listened to it, by which time it was too late. So we had that to work with, and narrative wise it was okay. It was just distorting a bit, which we needed to fix. So what I did that evening was I imported all that audio that we'd recorded into Isotope RX2, and just tried to declip it as much as I could. So I took out the low end, I took out some of the high end, reduced the noise, and then I had to reapply some frequency removals as well, because by reducing the noise it actually added some artificial frequencies, so I had to retake those out. and it took down the volume and dynamics of it, but it was less clippy and a bit more usable, easier to work with. Before we got down to mixing, we went through the BBC Technical Standards document again and just checked out anything else that we needed to do. So when anything gets delivered to the BBC, it has to undergo a certain SMPTE sort of structure. So we looked at that closely, and we had to shift our video about 2 minutes down our original starting line to get the actual video to start at 10 hours on the SMPTE clock. So there's actually a 2 minutes run up before you get to the video, which consists of EBU bars and a blitz lineup tone, just to make sure the speakers are aligned correctly. And there's 30 seconds of black frames, and just basically we've added some footage to the video just to make it lie within those standards. Another thing to mention was that our mix had to lie within certain levels, and the BBC used PPM meters to measure their levels. So if you look at the document, it states quite clearly what are satisfactory levels. So what we did was we just imported a couple of references that the BBC has used and compared them to ours and used those as reference levels on where we should get ours sit in. So we used Ripper Street, which at the time of mixing, it had just won an award for its sound content, so that was a perfect example of a brilliant reference. We used David Attenborough, Planet Earth, because his vocals obviously are quite dominant in there, and we just wanted to see how they sat within the mix with the music and everything. And we also used an old one as a kind of a bad reference, and that was Blackadder. We used an old DVD from Blackadder just to have a look on how that sat. It says that vocals can sit anywhere between 3 and 6. That's if they're quite dynamic, if not between 3 and 5. I mean, a couple of the references we looked at, they were hitting that. David Attenborough was quite high, whereas Ripper Street was about the normal. It was 4, which is like right in the middle. So that's the aim, that's where we wanted to get ours sit in. Because our music was compressed, according to the document, we can have it between 2 and 4. Ours was a bit over 4, so we were pushing the boundary, but I think it's still acceptable. Then that was part of the mix, and then it was done pretty much. We just had to synchronize it to the video and upload it. Yeah, I think the final product is good. It works well as a standalone. I think there are a few things that obviously we could have changed. For example, the vocal recording, like that was awful, like the way we did it, but it was rushed, so we could have gone back and done it again, get some more clean recording. I like the fact that the shouting like jumps out at you, and it's more appealing. So if we could have gone back and done it again, I think we should have recorded more narrative. I mean, at the moment the narrative just jumps out at you every now and again, and it's kind of, you don't know where you stand with it. But if it was either not constantly there, but if there was a bit more to it, I think that would be good. The music layers, I personally feel like the guitar is a bit too loud at the beginning. It just stands out too much. But we couldn't do anything about that because I'd exported the music all on one track. So if we turned it down, or obviously the synthesizers would come down as well. So perhaps I could have done it on different layers, like exported a couple of stems so we could have had more independent control over them. But I think that's about it. As a group, we worked well together, and like no one was hindering the process. No one didn't want to work. Everyone was willing to do something and contribute, and it was quite positive and proactive. So I enjoy doing this project.